Kinamagi and Nene Ireland Indishnikas, and welcome to this Math Tier 2 intervention. Today's session, Lesson 3.8, 3 and 4 digit dividends. Let's begin by looking at what we did in our last session. And I have the answer key here. And notice it had sample answers given, because as I recall, we did 700 divided by 10 and got 70. There are going to be differences in your answers to these answers. But if you can justify them, then good on you. I asked you to do the bottom 9 problems. In the first one, if you had circled 14 and 2, we know 2 goes into 14. We just make sure that it stays a 3-digit number, so we put a 0. 140 divided by 2 was 70. This one, we kept the 5. We had circled the 28. We know 5 goes into 30 evenly because 5 goes into any dividend that ends with a 5 or a 0 other than 0 automatically. 5 goes into 36 times. There's still a 0 left over, 60. 592 and 7. They kept the 7 and dropped this down to 8 times 7, which is 56, and had an 80. 139 divided by 5. You want something 5 will go into. We bounced it up to 150. 5 goes into 15 3 times. There's 1 0 left over, 30. We had 439 divided by 8. 8 goes into 40 is the closest one. So 400 divided by 8. 8 goes into 45 times. There's a 0 left over, 50. 242 and 3. Well, 3 does go into 24. And we have to make sure that we keep that a 3-digit number. So it's 240. 3 goes into 24 8 times. There's a 0 left over, 80. 6 and 12 would be circled here. 6 does go into 12 evenly, so we keep it. This has to be a 3-digit number, so we make it 120. 6 goes into 12 twice. There's a 0 left over, 20. 4, we need something that's close to 29, but evenly divided by 4. And that closest one is 28, because the next one up is 32, which is bigger. 4 goes into 28 7 times. There's 1 0 left over. There we go. 9 and 78. The nearest multiple of 9 is 81. So then 9 goes into 81 9 times. There's a 0 left over, 90. If you had any questions or struggles on that, please do reach out and we can discuss it and help remediate any concerns you have. So let's go into today's lesson, reteach 3 and 4-digit dividends. And one of the things that I was very wanted to stress to you was that we're never dividing all 3 or 4 digits. We're dividing 1 or 2 digits at a time. So we had the sample problem here of 694 divided by 6. And here are the steps listed out. Step 1, you're really just going to have 6 going into 6, not 694. How many times does 6 go into 6? Well, it's the same number, so it's 1. So we put a 1, and that's over the hundreds place because that's the place value we're looking at, ones, tens, hundreds. So it goes in once. We put the 1 there. Then we multiply. 1 times 6 is 6. We subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. 0 is less than 6, so we bring down the 9. So at that point, we're going to move on to the tens place because that's where this 9 is in the tens. So we now have 9 groups of 10. Notice we're not now doing 694. We're not even worried about what's up here. That part is inconsequential to us. We're going right here at 6 into 9. So 6 goes into 9. 6, 12, like the Price is Right, you can't go over, so let's keep it at 6. So that's another 1. 1 times 6. Anytime you multiply a number by 1, the identity property of multiplication says that it remains that number, so it's a 6. We subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 is less than 6. We bring down, we get a 4. Now we are dealing with the ones place. And there are 34 ones remaining after you regroup these 3 10s into ones. And I have to say, how many times does 6 go into 34? 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So I'm going to put a 5 up here because I don't want to go over. And I keep it in the ones place. 5 times 6 is 30. I subtract 34 minus 30 is 4. Now at this point, that is my remainder. So it'll be 115, remainder 4. I could have gone 115 and 4, 6, but we're not there yet. So let's go with the remainders. I can check my work by taking my quotient, the whole number, the whole parts, times my divisor, and then add my remainder. And if I get the same number, I did well. So let's do this one together. And I'm going to grab my dry erase board real quick here for you. So I'm going to begin with number 1, 393 divided by 3. You should grab dry erase boards for this or a piece of paper. If you have to pause the video to get those things, feel free. I do. So if you need to pause it, go ahead now, and I'll see you as soon as you're ready. If you left me, welcome back. I'm going to stop my share in order to make sure that you can see this a lot more easily. Well, that's going to be a challenge. Pause. So we have 393 divided by 3. Starting, we have the ones, tens, hundreds. 3 goes into 3 how many times? 1. 3 times 1 is 3. I subtract, I get a 0. If that 0 is less than 3, I bring down the 9. And now, how many times is 3 going to 9? Basic, niche, this way. 3 times 3 is 9. I multiply, I subtract, I get a 0. 0 is less than 3, so I bring down my 3. 3 goes into 3 one time because it's that number. 1 times 3 is 3, and I get a 0. So my answer is going to be 131. Notice that I left it as neat as possible. And hopefully this will give you a quick insight. Make sure ones, tens, hundreds, and we'll go back to the paper. Let's use my annotation tool for the next one. 9 goes into 9 how many times? 1. 1 times 9 is 9. I subtract. I get a 0. 0 is less than 9, so I bring down. And you should be neater than this, but. So now I'm going 9 into 6. I'm not worried about what's up here anymore. 9 does not go into 6, so I put a 0. Anytime that my divisor is bigger than the number I'm looking, we're going to use a 0. So we'll subtract a 0 because 0 times 9 is 0. Anytime you multiply by 0, it's automatically 0. 6, and now I got to bring down this 5. 9 into 65. Well, if I remember my math facts, 9 times 7 is 63, so I'm going to go there. 107. 63. I subtract 107, remainder 2. Okay, I would like you to practice the next 4 problems and see how you did. We'll review these when we come into our next session. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me. I strongly encourage you to attend this group Zoom, but if you happen to miss, we can do some makeup or one-on-one sessions. Hope you all have a minute. Gijigad, Bama P.